Hey guys, let's just talk about the costs, the alternatives to recruiting. Because if you're paying someone $100,000 a year and the recruiter wants 30%, which is $30,000, that is you paid $130,000 for that person for that year. So let's talk about some alternatives real fast. One is temps. Temps are going to cost a little bit more in the short term, as like per unit. If you're looking at hours, you're going to cost a little bit more, but they're going to be cheaper in the whole shop because you're not going to have to pay for the onboarding process. You're not going to have to pay for benefits, HR, all the other good stuff. You have another company that's providing payroll services, and you're basically able to just remit a payment to them when they submit that invoice. So it's going to be easier for you to be able to do that. That's one way where you don't have to do the actual recruitment. Another thing is contracted managers and professionals. Okay, um, a professional would be considered like a consulting company like PwC or KPMG, Boston Consulting Group, something like that. These guys are all expensive, but it will be better for you long term. It'll be better for you. I don't want to say long term, but it'll be better for you to go ahead and acquire those services. Same thing with like an account, like not like a tax professional or something like that. Sometimes those services are better to not pay all year, but just pay when you need it. There's a company that we used called 1-800 Accountants at one point. It was $2,000, but it covered all the year's taxes. They did a whole bunch of stuff for us. One of those situations was less expensive for us because if we looked at bringing on a person full time, we were looking at spending 2,000 at a multiple. So that's another option that you guys have to remember to keep on the table when you're saying, "Hey, I need to get this position filled." Well, I need to get this position filled. Can we use an alternative other than recruiting? Can we use an alternative? Can we hire someone else? Can we get a temp person to come in and do this? Can we have a professional service provide for this? Now, another thing with staffing is leased labor. So the difference between the temporary employee and leased labor is normally the duration and some of the terms. So that's going to depend upon your state, your industry. There's a lot of variance there. So I won't be able to go too deep into details, but I will give you an example. So say for example, Buckhead Staffing, we need someone to be on the phones. We need someone to be making outbound calls and reaching out to folks. All right. A temporary employee would be very similar to a lease employee. It's just that we would have an agreement with the other company more so than the temporary employee. So the temporary employee is going to come in and do a job, and this is what we need done, and they're going to get that done. With a lease employee, from my perspective, I'm going to have different terms, meaning that I'm going to need this amount of I'm going to need this amount of production handled. I'm going to need these KPIs hit, and I'm basically purchasing that person from another company, whether it's a competitor or just a service provider. I'm purchasing that person, and I'm going to expect them to be able to perform at a particular level. A little bit different than temporary employees, where you're going to come in, I'm going to pay you for your time, and that is that. So I just want to give you guys some alternatives to recruiting other than just, hey, we got this position, we need to get it filled, and whatever. And let me tell you why. But one of the other pieces here is that if you don't have a lot of money, um, trying to hire someone at $10 an hour, $9 an hour is difficult. And if it's important, it means they're going to have to work 40, 50 hours a week just to make $200, $300, and that's not really attractive. um, these other alternatives to recruiting at bare minimum, you want to keep them on the table, but they may be able to generate a better result for you. And at the end of the day, that's what this thing is all about. I hope this was valuable to you. I hope it opens up your brain a little bit, lets you think, hey, there are some other options other than just recruiting, other than just trying to go after this one particular person. Maybe we need to look at another source like Fiverr or something like that. Maybe we need to look at virtual assistants. Maybe we need to open up our scope and say, hey, we'll allow remote professionals to come in and help us out, in whatever capacity that is.